The final 4 clubs have now been decided for the Champions League semifinals, so it's only right that I make my predictions on these games and finally say who I think will win the tournament this year. And trust me, you're gonna want to stay until the end, because I got some crazy upsets in this video. To start things off, let's talk about Borussia Dortmund versus PSG first. A nice little reunion. Yeah, you heard me correct. These two sides have already faced each other in the Champions League this season, and that's because they were both in the same group of death, which ended up with Borussia Dortmund topping the group and PSG finishing in second. But Borussia Dortmund never actually got the better of PSG in the 2 games that they faced each other in, because in the first game between the two, PSG dominated Dortmund and ended up defeating them 2-0 on the first match day. Then on the last match day, Dortmund and PSG ended up drawing, but that's only because Mbappe's late goal was barely called offsides. So basically, PSG got the better of Borussia Dortmund in both of those games. And this is important information regarding with who's going into the final. But it has been a while since these two clubs have reconnected. After all, both teams went through different experiences and played different clubs, like Dortmund beating PSV and recently Atletico Madrid, and PSG too, with them beating Sociedad and Barcelona recently. It's like being in a relationship, and then y'all take a break from each other, see different people maybe, and then y'all come back together.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What I'm trying to say is, things could be different now, especially when you find out one of y'all was clapping somebody else's cheeks. Oh, hold up, bro. I read my script wrong. My apologies. What I meant to say is, especially because Borussia Dortmund must be feeling super confident after that quarterfinal clash against Atletico Madrid. Let's talk about it. In the first leg, Atletico Madrid were at home and started off hot, thanks to Rodrygo the ball, who pounced off a Dortmund mistake to give Atletico an early 4th minute lead in the game. From then on, Atletico Madrid started to dominate, and they made Dortmund pay again in the 32nd minute, thanks to a beautiful ball from Antoine Griezmann, who's on fire this season, to Samuel Lino, who then scored to put his side up 2-0. Fun fact, Lino was so close to joining Dortmund this past summer as well, and now he scored against them. That's tough. Anyways, from here on, it felt like Atletico Madrid had the tie in the bag, and with them being known for being defensively solid, it didn't seem like they would allow Dortmund to score. But for some reason, Atletico Madrid stepped off the gas pedal and allowed Dortmund back in the game, which ended up in Sebastian Aller scoring in the 81st minute to bring back 1 goal for Dortmund. If Atletico Madrid kept a clean sheet on the night, I strongly believe that they will be heading through. But because they allowed Dortmund to score, going to Germany with the 1 goal lead would be dangerous, and it turned out to be true. From minute 1 of the second leg, Dortmund were pressing on, knowing that they had to score to keep themselves alive in this Champions League campaign. And in the 34th minute, their breakthrough finally came through, thanks to Julian Brandt, who squeezed the ball into the net from a seemingly impossible angle to draw up the aggregate score. But this scoreline wouldn't remain for long, because 5 minutes later, the Chelsea loanee, Ian Maatsen, runs into the box and scores a dagger to give his side the lead in the tie. How did Chelsea let this guy go out on loan, bro? He's a demon on that left-hand side. Sadly, in the second half off a corner, Mats Hummels shuts off focus and accidentally puts in an own goal to bring Atleti back into the tie. And in the 64th minute, Atletico Madrid would retake the lead once again, thanks to Angel Correa, who came on the pitch as a substitute and made the difference, scoring a goal to put Atletico Madrid ahead on the tie. From this moment on, I thought I was seeing a classic Dortmund imploding performance. And honestly, I lost all hope that Dortmund were going to come back in this game. But I thought wrong. That's because in the 71st minute, Sabitzer drops an absolute dime of a pass in which Füllkrug, the fox in the box, puts his head on the end of it to bring Dortmund back level in the tie. And this wouldn't be it either, because Marcel Sabitzer, the Bayern Munich and Manchester United reject, scored a great goal from the corner of the box to put Dortmund 1 ahead overall against Atletico Madrid, and BVB would hold on to complete the comeback over Atleti to secure themselves a spot in the Champions League semifinals. What a quarterfinal clash, man. BVB really pulled off the upset against Atletico Madrid. Who would have thought? Of course your boy did, man! Roll the tape! I got Dortmund winning 2-0, and they'll be making the semifinals of the Champions League for the first time since 2013. Yeah, got that prediction spot on, as per usual. Anyways, let's now move on to PSG, who had the tough task of playing Barcelona, and it didn't start off well for the men from Paris. Because in the 37th minute, Lamine Yamal crossed in a dangerous ball, in which Rafinha pounced on the rebound to put Barca 1-0 up away from home. But sadly for Barca, the man they once loved, Ousmane Dembele, gets his side back level with an outrageous strike from his supposed weak foot, and then Dembele proceeded to celebrate the goal as well, which pissed off Barca fans a ton. They said they would give him the Luis Figo treatment when Dembele returned to Barca, but let's just say there were no pig heads thrown onto the pitch, so it wasn't that bad. Anyways, I got a little too ahead of myself there. Let's go back to the game, because 2 minutes after Dembele scored, the 40 million bargain Vitinha put the ball in from an elegant finish to put PSG ahead on the tie. But Barcelona would pounce back from this in the 62nd minute, thanks to a beautiful pass from Pedri into Rafinha, who put it away to get his brace in the game. Then super sub Christian Christensen would get his head on the ball from a corner in the 77th minute to give Barca the 3-2 lead, and this ended the first leg. With this, Barca fans were extremely confident, especially heading into the second leg at Barcelona, but things didn't end up going that well. Let's get into it. It was actually looking good for Barca fans initially, with Lamine Yamal leaving Nuno Mensch in the dust on the attack, and scored it to Rafinha to score to put Barca 2 goals ahead on the tie. But Barcelona would capitulate from here on, with Ronald Araujo making a huge mistake, fouling Barcola outside the box as the last man, getting himself sent off and leaving Barca with 10 men. Then Xavi decided to sub out Lamine Yamal for a center back, which was the wrong decision in my opinion, because Yamal was their best creative outlet, and then Xavi ended up getting sent off too after throwing a fit. He needed to calm down for real. Anyways, PSG would make this advantage count, with Ousmane Dembele once again getting his name on the score sheet against a team he was once a part of. Crazy, because Dembele only has 3 goals this season, and 2 of them were against his former club Barcelona. Bro must really hate his old team, man. Anyways, Vitinha ended up scoring a rocket to level the tie for PSG, and Mbappe took care of the rest with him scoring a brace to give PSG the 4-1 win away from home, and overall, the ticket to the Champions League semifinals. Barcelona capitulated, and PSG took advantage of it. The game's the game. And guess who predicted this result correct too? Me, of course. Roll the tape! And PSG will go on to the semifinals of the Champions League by winning 3-2 overall. Sorry, Barca fans. Anyways, with all of this being said, who do I think is going to go through to the Champions League final? Borussia Dortmund or PSG? Well, a lot has changed since these two sides face each other, but I'm going to stick with my gut. And after analyzing the past results between the two and their quarterfinal clashes, I think the first leg will end up as a 2-2 draw, and PSG will take care of business at home 2-0 to make the Champions League final 4-2 overall. Mbappe looks like he's on a mission, and I think he'll be making another Champions League final for PSG. You heard it here first. Let's now move on to the other semifinal clash, Bayern Munich versus Real Madrid. Oh baby, this is gonna be good. But real quick before we get on with that though, please remember to subscribe to the channel. We're close to 100,000 subscribers, and I would just really appreciate it, so thank you. And also, if you guys can, follow my Twitter and my Instagram, both at Nabhuto, if you just want to hear my thoughts on football games, transfers, and overall, just to get to know me more. So if you want to, feel free to hit me up with that follow. Thank you. Anyways, back to topic, both Bayern Munich and Real Madrid had tough quarterfinal opponents, with Bayern Munich having to play Arsenal and Real Madrid having to play Manchester City. Let's quickly go over how Bayern Munich got the better of Arsenal first. Now, Arsenal fans were getting a little cocky on the internet, saying things like pray for Bayern before the first leg, despite them getting absolutely humiliated 10-2 the last time these two sides faced. And although this game wasn't as one-sided, it was quite obvious from the get-go that Bayern Munich were going to be the ones to go through. Now, in the first leg between the two, Bukayo Saka scored a lovely finish to put his side up 1-0 and put one foot in the door of the semifinals. But Arsenal have 0 European history, while Bayern got a lot. So you already know that this goal was not going to put an end on the tie. And that would be right, because 6 minutes later, Arsenal would lose their only lead in the tie, with Bayern pouncing on an Arsenal defensive mistake and Gnabry making sure Bayern gets a goal back in the leg. Then Arsenal completely capitulated defensively, and Saliba gave away a penalty, in which of course Arsenal's most hated, Harry Kane, put it away to give Bayern the lead in the game. This wouldn't be the end of it though, with super sub Leandro Trossard getting on the pitch rescuing a goal for them. But even after this, Bayern still seemed to be the better team, with them being so close to winning it away at the Emirates if Coman's shot didn't hit the post. Arsenal also had a chance to take the lead late into the game, but instead of dribbling it past the keeper or taking a shot, Bukayo Saka tried to win a penalty, and it backfired because he didn't get one. Moving on to the second leg, it honestly was just pathetic from Arsenal. They didn't threaten Bayern Munich at all until like the very end of the game, and even then, it wasn't anything like the first leg. However, Bayern capitalized on one of their best chances, and Kimmich snuck himself into the box to score the goal that gave Bayern Munich the win and the ticket to the Champions League semifinals. Arsenal are now 138 years without a Champions League trophy. That's tough. And guess who predicted this correct? I did. Roll the tape! That's right. I got Arsenal going through to the Champions League semifinal. Now before y'all get commenting, wait, you said Arsenal were gonna win. Let me show you this. However, I wouldn't be surprised if I just jinxed Arsenal right now, and honestly, I hope I just did. Since I said that I wanted to jinx Arsenal, I'm taking this as a correct prediction on my end. A win is a win. Anyways, let's now go over to the Real Madrid versus Manchester City game, which ended up being one of the juiciest games in this campaign, especially that first leg, because oh baby, were there some beautiful goals. First, Bernardo Silva scores a beautiful free kick to put his side up 1-0, but a few minutes later, Camavinga equalizes. Then, 2 minutes after that, Rodrygo scores a great goal after a solo run, where he put the ball in the back of the net after challenging 2 Man City defenders and the goalkeeper. But then in the second half, Phil Foden came alive and scored an absolute golazo to put his side back even in the tie. And Gvardiol scored a beauty 4 minutes later to put City up 3-2. What a way to get your first goal for the club. But 8 minutes later, Real Madrid got one more chance, and Valverde scored an outrageous volley to level the tie 3-3 heading into the second leg. So many beautiful goals, man. Shit brings a tear to my eye. Moving forward, the second leg was a bit more anticlimactic until the end. Real Madrid had one clear-cut chance to score, and that was in the 12th minute, in which Rodrygo obviously takes that opportunity and seizes it. Mbappe, putting his side up 1-0. From then on, Madrid sat back and defended valiantly. Sadly for them though, they conceded to Kevin De Bruyne in the second half, meaning Madrid wouldn't be able to win the game in the 90s. So they did the next best thing. They defended for 30 more minutes in extra time to try and take the game to pens. And that's exactly what they did, thanks to amazing defending and missed chances from City. Then in the penalty shootout, things get pretty interesting. Alvarez tucks his penalty away first, but Modric, who stepped up for Real Madrid's first pen, misses it to give City the advantage. With City going first in the penalty shootout, which is technically an advantage, and also going 1-0 up in the shootout, City had every reason to go through. But instead, Real Madrid's unlikely hero, Lunin, the third string goalkeeper technically, comes up clutch for them. He decided to take the risk and stand still for Bernardo Silva's penalty instead of diving, and this paid off with him saving the pen. Then when Kovacic stepped up for City, his best friend from their Chelsea days, Rudiger, tells Lunin to dive to his right, and Lunin does that and saved Kovacic's penalty. At the end, Rudiger steps up and buries his penalty, sending Real Madrid through to the semifinals of the Champions League, ending City's hope of winning back-to-back trebles. That's tough, but hey, watching the Champions League is kind of fun when you're on Real Madrid's side. And oh, guess who got this prediction right? I did, baby. You know what time it is. Roll the tape! Real Madrid will beat Manchester City 3-2 on aggregate and make the semifinals. I just don't see Real Madrid going out in the Champions League to the same team 2 years in a row. I went 4 for 4 in my predictions, bruh. So to all the comments hating on my predictions, who's laughing now? That's right, I'm the king. With all that being said, who do I think is going through between Real Madrid and Bayern Munich? 2 of the best clubs to have participated in the Champions League. Well, if y'all haven't guessed it already, you know who I'm backing. It's Real Madrid. Despite Bayern beating Arsenal in the quarterfinals, this doesn't change the fact that this is one of the weakest Bayern Munich sides in their history. And with their injury issues currently going on too, I don't think they stand a chance against Real Madrid. So in the first leg, I got Bayern and Real Madrid drawing 1-1. But then in the second leg, I got Real Madrid winning 3-0, which means Madrid will win 4-1 on aggregate and meet PSG in the final. Yeah, neither German club is going to be making the Champions League final. Crazy, because on the off chance I get it wrong, and they do, it'll be an exact repeat of the 2013 Champions League final, where both Bayern and Dortmund faced off at Wembley. But this time instead, I think it's going to be a new rivalry, the Mbappe rivalry. The winner of this game gets to keep Mbappe. Just kidding, we know Mbappe is going to Real Madrid no matter what happens in that final. So, in the final between Real Madrid and PSG, who do I got winning? It's tricky for sure, with Real Madrid having more star power, but PSG having the star, Kylian Mbappe. Plus, PSG got some unsung heroes on their team, like Barcola, who is great in the quarters, Ousmane Dembele starting to come alive, Vitinha too, etc. This final would be amazing to watch, and I hope this actually becomes the final. Actually, who am I kidding? It definitely will be, because I'm the GOAT at predicting things, bruh. Speaking about my prediction, I think the final scoreline is going to be 2-1 to PSG, meaning that PSG will win their first Champions League, and Mbappe will leave the club on a high. Mbappe is literally doing the opposite of Kevin Durant, bruh. Instead of joining the winners, he'll be joining the losers. And I know y'all expected me to say that Madrid was going to win their 15th Champions League title, but y'all know me by now, bruh. I love an upset, and I think PSG winning the Champions League would be an upset. Plus, Mbappe leaving PSG with a Champions League trophy would be poetic, and I kind of hope that it happens for him. Anyways, let me know who you guys got going through to the Champions League final, and who you guys got winning that in the comments down below. Now, if you did enjoy this video, please remember to subscribe to the channel, I'd really appreciate it, and please be sure to follow my Twitter and my Instagram. The links are in my YouTube description. Last but not least, if you want to learn about this crazy Premier League title race going on right now, you definitely want to check out this video right here. You won't regret it.